Welcome to Where I Long to Be, a magical trip report podcast. My name is Virginia, and I am your host. As we speak, I have just returned home today from my week in the Outer Banks with my family, and it was such a wonderful week. Because of the way I'm wired, as soon as one trip is done, I'm always turning my sights to whatever trip I may have on the books next. And in this case, my next trip will be Labor Day weekend to Walt Disney World. Originally, we were going to be doing 2 nights at All Star Sports and then 2 nights at Grand Destino Tower at Coronado Springs. But recently, I changed it to 1 night at All Star Sports and 3 nights over at Pop Century because the lure of the Skyliner was calling me. Today's Trip Report guest, Lisa, also stayed at Pop Century Resort, and this was a first time for her and her husband, James, who have only been to Walt Disney World once together in December of 2023 for their honeymoon. Since then, they have been itching to get back and are hoping that this trip will involve a lot less rain than they experienced during that first trip. Lisa and James were traveling to Orlando from the UK June 12th through 20th and had 7-day park hopper tickets. Because of the time difference and just because of how Lisa and James like to do Disney, they planned to rope drop every day. Were they able to do it? Let's find out. Please welcome Lisa. Welcome back, Lisa.
Thank you so much for having me. It's so nice to be here again.
Oh my gosh. I've been so excited to hear about how this trip went because I've already finished editing your pre-trip episode. So it got me all hyped up to hear how things went. So first thing out of the gate, I want to know, because we had talked about your trip in December 2023 and how much it rained. How was it traveling in the summer in terms of the rain?
It was incredible. It was possibly, versus December, my current favourite time of year. However, hot. Hot is the key word I'm going to go for, which you will know better than anyone. We were really lucky with the rain. We had about 1 day of like full, I'm going to throw it down, lightning landing in front of us sort of rain, and the sort of thunder that I have never heard before, like cracking to the point I could feel it in my body. But otherwise, we had bright sunshine, sweaty. Sweaty's probably another key word for Orlando in June. But yeah, absolutely loved it. Summer in Orlando is everything I expected it to be.
Were you using cooling towels, fans? What were you doing to try to combat the heat?
We did take a fan with us, just one between us in the bag, but we barely used it, if I'm honest. We're very smart with like the way that we do things, and although the itinerary probably sounded really jam-packed, we take everything at our own pace. So we'll stroll around. We don't have set times we want to do, set rides. We'll just look at the wait time, see what's happening, and then we utilize the shops very cleverly and go in between shops to get from A to B. So we just sort of take that as our minute to like cool down, relax.
Yeah, we talked a lot in the pre-trip episode about planned spontaneity, like having a structure in place and then being able to play within that structure. So it sounds like you executed your planned spontaneity to a T.
Did. What I will say, which I'm sure will come to light very shortly, is that some of the general framework of the plans did not go to plan.
Okay. All right.
And that's fine. That's what happens at Disney. You just have to roll with it.
That is fine. All right. Next question before we get started into all the day-to-day stuff is you utilized the quick service dining plan for this trip.
We did.
So I want to know, how did you like that?
We really enjoyed it. What we haven't worked out yet is, do we think it was good value for us as people? And what I mean by that is the food at Disney, and I think probably food in general in America versus the UK, the portions are quite big. So a lot of the meals we would share. So actually then we were only using 1 quick service instead of 2. And my husband doesn't drink, so we weren't necessarily maximizing on that value for money from a quick service point of view. So quite often he would just get like a bottle of water, which for listeners, that might sound a bit mad because you can have a cocktail with your quick service, or you can have a mocktail or a smoothie, whatever that might be. But overall, I think it worked out really well for us because we didn't have to think about too much extra money. We knew that the food that we wanted every day was included. But what I will say is we left having credits still.
I think my take on the dining plan is you have to, whether you're doing the quick service or the full out dining plan, is you have to determine why are you getting it? What's important to you? Is it is it that you're trying to maximize your dollar value, or are you trying to maximize the feeling of convenience?
Yes.
So I've said this before, but for me, I'm always about the dollar value. And so it actually feels like more work to me to do the dining plan, because I would then every single meal be thinking about, am I getting the highest dollar value for this? And it takes more thinking.
Yeah.
And so what I like to do is just eat what I want to eat when I want to eat it. And I've done multiple test runs of this years ago. I've stopped doing test runs because it always works out the same, which is that I spend less money eating what I want to eat when I want to eat it than getting the dining plan. And so
Really?
I've
Okay.
wrapped my head around that it's always going to be better. And I think that if I wanted the convenience factor of feeling like it was already paid for, what I've always recommended that people do is put the dollar value of the meal plan on a Disney gift card and then use that to pay for all your meals. You will have money left over at the end, and then you can use it for souvenirs. I don't usually do that. I just kind of like to feel a little bit more loosey-goosey. But if that is, for some people, that's more stressful, just buying what you want because you think, oh, I'm going to overspend.
Yeah.
And that's fine. To me, it's about the feeling of being able to kind of relax about it. And if having the dining plan makes you feel more relaxed about it, then that's what you should do. For me,
Yeah.
it doesn't. It makes it feel more like work.
I think we wouldn't pay for it necessarily next time if it wasn't on an offer. But I think if we were booking at a time when it was free, like,
Right.
why wouldn't you have it? We're not going to remove it. But I also don't think we would then pay the difference to upgrade either, because
Right.
the type of hotel resorts we book from the UK, as much as I hope I can get there one day, we can't afford deluxe resorts yet. So with a lot of
Mm-hmm.
the value and moderate resorts, you only get the quick service dining plan. And
Right.
then you can upgrade for like £600. But to
Mm-hmm.
me, we wouldn't spend, even if we had the quick service for free and then booked some table service restaurants, we're not going to spend another $600.
Right.
So, or £600, whichever the
Right.
equivalent is. So we would just then book the sit downs that we want to do and then have
Mm-hmm.
extra quick services. And what was really nice was at the end of the trip, and in the hotel, I just pixie dusted some people like coffees, their breakfast, like quick services, because I thought, well, there's no point me leaving Disney property having leftover credits that I can't
Right.
use.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. That works. To me, it seems like you are a prime candidate to at some point in your Disney future rent DVC points, because that is an excellent way to experience a deluxe resort at of a more moderate price point. So,
It's on the
something to
cards. I
consider.
have discussed it with the husband. I think what we just need to work out is, I'm not sure if DVC from the UK works out as good value for money because of the offers that we get over here.
Sure. Yeah.
So that's the bit I need to work out. But I would love to one day, even if it's just for like a night, our dream resort is
Hmm.
Riviera. I can't remember if
Oh,
I said
yeah.
that in the first episode, but I would love to stay at Riviera so, so much.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Then I would say rent DVC points for a random night on a next trip that you're doing.
Yeah.
And even if you have a good offer, maybe it's even worth it to rent DVC points for that one night in the middle of your stay and like not necessarily check out of your value or moderate resort, but just like go somewhere else to spend the night and then come back to
That's a
it
good idea. I
because of
hadn't
the
thought about
offer.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we
I
can
don't
just
know.
leave all of our stuff, take what we
Yeah.
need for a night. That's a really good idea.
Yeah.
I'm going to
I don't
add
know.
that to the list for the next trip.
Okay. All right. Next follow up is you stayed at Pop Century. This was new for you. So, what did you think about Pop Century?
Am I allowed to be like as completely honest as I
Oh,
want to be?
if you were not honest, I would be upset. Please be as honest
Perfect.
as you can be.
So, this is obviously just my personal opinion. I'm sure you're going to have people listening that think the complete opposite, maybe that think the same, or are just indifferent on the matter. But for us, I'm really, really glad we did Pop Century and
Hmm.
we experienced something different at Disney. But it was very overwhelming and overstimulating from like day one for us. And maybe
Mm,
that's because in our mind we were comparing it to Coronado Springs, which is very like calm in the tower, relaxed. It feels like an
yeah.
adult hotel. Whereas
Yeah.
Pop Century just felt like busy everywhere. It
Right.
felt like when you went into the quick service, it was always quite noisy. And we like after a park day to come back and feel relaxed. I
Yeah.
wouldn't necessarily say I felt relaxed coming back to Pop.
Mm,
However, what I will say is it definitely, like, there was nothing we didn't like about it as such. There was nothing horrible. We didn't have any bad
right.
service. We didn't have any bad experiences. The Skyliner 10 out of 10. Like the convenience of having that on your doorstep was absolutely incredible.
Mhm.
And the, activities that they do at the hotel, everything about it, that side of it was amazing. I just think for us next time, we're probably steered more towards a moderate resort than we are to the
Sure.
value resorts.
Okay. All right. Good to know about yourselves, right? Because now
Yeah,
you
it's
have plenty other places to try because you stayed at Coronado, but you got Caribbean Beach at your disposal,
yes.
Riverside, French Quarter. I know that you did intend to pop over to Riverside and French Quarter on this trip. So hopefully that happened and we can talk about how you liked it over there. But before we do that,
Absolutely.
let's get into all of the travel plans and everything and see how it turned out. So how was your flight?
Flight was amazing. We had the best experience I've possibly ever had on a flight, if I'm honest. So we actually booked
Really?
a window seat and an aisle seat, and the middle seat was free. So we ended up with a whole row to ourselves. Staff with Virgin are amazing. I don't know if you've ever flown with Virgin, but you get like
I
a really
have.
nice, yeah, you get lovely food, something
Hmm.
that they do. And I don't know if this is just from the UK or if it's from everywhere, but like an hour before landing, we had afternoon tea. So we had hot scones and jam and cream. We also had mini ice creams at one point. Yeah, we just felt like we were really, really spoiled. And something I always do on a flight is I gift the cabin crew some like treats to keep them going throughout the flight. So yeah,
Hmm.
they were very appreciative for that as well. It was a lovely flight.
Mm. Yeah, I've only had one experience on Virgin, which was about a year ago when we went to London, and I loved it.
Yeah.
It was so nice. All right, you landed. You had big plans to go straight away to Disney Springs
Yeah.
and experience everything over there, including getting a lounge fly because
Yes.
you were dead set on that. So let's
Hmm.
hear all about that. Did you get your lounge fly? Which one was it? Was it hard to
Absolutely.
decide?
So yeah, we got to the hotel. Obviously, this was also the first Disney trip I was vlogging. So in between, we're doing all the vlogging, we're doing the room tour. We got to Pop, and got changed, sort of freshened up, and then headed out. We got to Springs, had a little mooch in World of Disney. I think the time we got to Springs was probably just bad timing. It was
Hmm.
early evening, so obviously it was getting busy for dinner, people probably coming out of the parks to start to go shopping. And we had planned to get my lounge fly and a Blaze pizza. I will tell
Hmm.
you now that did not happen.
Oh no.
So we were sort of wandering around and we were trying to look at the things that we wanted to look at. And we kind of looked at each other at one point and we were like, I don't know how we're surviving. We look like zombies. I think this was a terrible idea. So we ended up leaving Springs. We didn't get a lounge fly, we didn't get pizza, and we went back to Pop Century and had chicken tenders and chips. And we just sat across the table, and I remember it clear as day. And we just said to each other, why didn't we just do this from the beginning? Like go for a swim and then feel relaxed, ready for tomorrow? Because all we've done in this scenario is like push ourselves to the max
Mhm.
and then
Yes.
felt rubbish for it. So this is a very true example of when plans don't go to plan.
Mhm. No, I remember when we spoke before, I said, "Are you going to just hang at the hotel?" And you're like, "Nope, here's what we're doing." And I was like, "Wow,
Yes.
that's really ambitious," but I can totally
Yes.
understand because I'm the same way. I
Yeah,
usually will
I love to like
overdo it.
jam pack everything in and I really want to experience like all the Disney magic straight away.
Mhm.
However, that's definitely taught me a lesson that it is quite a long travel day from the UK. Like the flight,
Mhm.
it's quite tiring. I think next time the sensible thing to do is just enjoy the hotel, have a swim, like be
Mhm.
relaxed, and then go like full on day one.
Right. What building were you in at Pop Century? Which decade?
Oh, that's a good question. We were in the 50s building,
Oh, okay. All right.
I'm
Cool.
sure.
So
But
you had a like the quiet pool near you.
yes, quiet pool
Okay.
right by us. So we were in the building behind Lady, the big lady statue,
Mhm. Okay.
and we had a courtyard view, I think it's classed as. So we were just overlooking sort of like a tree area behind that building. But it
Mhm.
was really nicely located because actually for us, that pool was much quieter. There's obviously not lots
Mhm.
going on late into the evening, but we were about a 5 minute walk either way from the lobby and from the Skyliner, which we had booked a preferred room. So I think that is to
Mhm.
do with proximity to certain amenities.
Right. Okay. All right. Let's get into your first full day, which was Friday the 13th. Hopefully there was no bad luck happening this day.
No,
what did you do first thing in the morning? You had discussed breakfast at the hotel before heading over to Magic Kingdom.
Yes, so that day one almost worked out like the perfect itinerary day, if I'm honest. We were up super, super early, which I knew was going to happen. I think we were up at about 5:30 because the time difference, the jet lag from the
Right.
UK, we just woke up super early. So we got ready, not in a rush. We knew we had lots of time, obviously, being up that early. And then we actually just went for an explore around the hotel. So we went to see the Skyliner, like as the sun was coming up, which was really
Mm-hmm.
nice. Just sort of get our bearings a bit because the previous night we'd obviously gone straight to Springs, had dinner, and gone to bed. We didn't know anything about the hotel. Then at breakfast time, we headed into the quick service. So I had my very first Mickey waffles, which I was very, very happy about. Starting the trip with Mickey waffles is like a tradition for me now.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got the bus to Magic Kingdom for early entry. So far, the morning was running good. I was wearing like a Tinkerbell band, which you can see over on my Instagram. Tried to post all of my outfits that I wore every day. And something that I found on my honeymoon that I quite enjoyed doing was the Disney banding. So just having some like little themes and outfits. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, then we spent early entry. We did a couple of rides. We had a really nice frozen coffee. We love the
Oh,
rush of
wait,
early
where did you get the
entry.
frozen coffee from?
Oh, good point. That was from the Joffreys in Tomorrowland. Can't remember what that
Okay.
one's called.
Did you get
The
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 mission
little
to
stand.
s'mores?
Yes,
That's Alex's favorite.
it was so good.
Absolute favorite. Yeah.
So good.
So this is a good point to ask you then, because I know that you said your husband was quite the coffee aficionado, and
Yes.
so in terms of the coffees that you had during the whole of this trip, how did the mission to s'mores stack up?
He was a big fan.
Did you have anything better? Are we aiming like later
Um,
on? Are we going to hit something where it was like the top?
So I think that was the only frozen coffee he had, if I'm honest. I drank a lot of frozen coffee, and Pop have a new, well, it was new to me, a new frozen coffee out, which was a cinnamon roll frozen coffee. It was beautiful. I discovered it
Okay.
like 3 days into the trip, and then it became like a daily occurrence. um,
Okay.
but he went very classic. He just had an iced latte most days, or if I had like a frozen coffee, he might try some of that.
Okay. But he found coffees he liked because he was concerned about that, I know.
Yes, so he was
Okay.
concerned about more the room coffee is what he was concerned about in the machine. So we didn't actually use that at all. So every morning he would go like while I was getting ready to pop Century to their new coffee shop, get himself an
Mhm.
iced coffee, and then we'd head over to the parks.
You, with your dining plan, got the refillable mugs, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Were you able to get the iced coffee in that, or that was not included because
No,
it
it wasn't
was
included,
okay.
although he probably could have made one himself using the ice in the refillable machine, the filtered coffee, and then just adding like milk or
Mhm.
creamer. But I think he wanted sort of the
The
barista made one,
the fun
the
coffee.
fancy one. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, okay. All right. So after getting your frozen coffee, where did you head in Magic Kingdom?
So we did a few more rides. I think on day one, I've been trying to refresh myself and have a quick look. So a few of the rides that we sort of did throughout this morning period. We rope dropped Seven Dwarfs.
Mhm.
Then we also, which was a first for us, did the teacups. And I was like, why not? We're at Disney. Like, it's an anybody ride. We're going to do the
Uh-huh.
teacups. My husband had a lot of fun spinning them very, very fast to the point that I
Mhm.
almost felt sick.
Oh my goodness.
I didn't quite realize how fast the teacups can go.
It really depends on the strength of the person
Yes.
turning
Yes.
the wheel.
He was enjoying it. We also did the Little Mermaid ride. It's one of my favorites, like a classic. I love the storyline. I love the songs. That was really, really nice. And then lunchtime, we headed over to Pinocchio's house. So we had flatbread there. That was really nice. Again, a new quick service for us. We shared that. And then at this midday point, we were like, we know we want to come back into the park and we've got lots of things we want to do this afternoon. So we actually went back to the hotel for a few hours and we just chilled out in the
Okay.
pool. So we
Mhm.
did a few hours swimming, got ready, and went back into, well, I say into the park. We actually made a pit stop at French Quarter.
Uh-huh.
I was very,
Had
very
a
excited
beignet.
about. We had beignets. Oh, I was dreaming about these beignets, and when I tell you they tasted exactly how I thought they would from seeing them on the screen,
Really? Okay.
yeah, they were amazing. Have you ever had them?
Oh, yeah, a million
Yeah,
times. I love
many
I
times.
love just the classic beignet. Like I sometimes will get the caramel sauce to dip it
Yeah.
in, but really I'll do like 1 or 2 dips and then I'm like, okay, I'm done with that. It's just so good on its own to me.
Yeah. No,
Very messy
100%.
though. You don't want to be
They
wearing a dark
are.
color.
No, which actually I was wearing a black dress, but I managed to keep it
Oh
quite clean. Yeah. But it was quite funny because we realized when we got there how messy they were because you could see tables of people around us as we were queuing with like powdered sugar everywhere.
no. Uh-huh.
But that was really nice. We just spent some time sitting outside, having our beignets, exploring the shop, and having a little bit of an explore around the hotel because, again, it's a really nice opportunity for us to then decide if we think it's somewhere we would want to go and stay.
Did you make it over to Riverside at all?
We did. We then got the boat. We try and go the long way around to places if we can, just so we
Mhm.
can, even if it's just, sort of cutting through somewhere so that we get to see it and experience some of it. So we got the boat down to Riverside and then got the
Mhm.
bus from there back to the park.
Okay, what did you think about Riverside?
I really loved the lobby at Riverside, which
Mhm.
in my head I'd sort of convinced myself I was going to prefer French Quarter, but when you walk into the lobby at Riverside, it sort of just feels a bit more like grown up versus French
Mhm.
Quarter, which I know might sound a bit bizarre, but it just had that feel of being ever so slightly more luxurious.
Okay.
But we
Did
didn't
you
really see much more of the resort than that.
did you see the pool over there at all on your way past?
No, we didn't.
Okay. I really love the Riverside pool area, but one of the nice things about Riverside and French Quarter is that because they're sort of sister resorts, it's one of the ways that you can pool hop. So if you're staying at French Quarter, you can use the Riverside pool and vice versa.
Oh, that's good to know
So,
because you can't do that
yeah.
with other Disney resorts.
No, no, not
That's really
usually.
good to know. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So are either of these resorts on your list for a future trip?
I think either of them would be, to be honest. We would just want to like look into them a bit more. So we do quite like the
Mhm.
idea of a slightly smaller hotel, which I think French
Mhm.
Quarter is slightly smaller
Yeah.
than Riverside. Yeah, I think
Mhm.
Riverside's slightly more spread out. Um, but
I love
otherwise,
French
from
Quarter for that reason.
yeah,
It's
and that's the
so
thing. It
easy.
just seems a bit more petite, and I think with that, it's probably also then slightly calmer, which again,
Mhm.
versus our Pop Century experience, is probably something that would be a draw for us.
Right, right. All right. So after you were done over at Riverside, you took the bus back. What did you do in the afternoon?
Yes, so back to Magic Kingdom. When we got into Magic Kingdom, the wait for Mickey at the theatre was literally about 5, 10 minutes. And I said to James, we have to go meet him. I don't
Mhm.
think the wait for Mickey has ever been that low when I've walked into the park. So I was like, we're going to meet the mouse. So we met Mickey. Then we wandered around a bit more. I don't think we necessarily did any rides at this point. I think we were just still like enjoying taking in the atmosphere.
Mhm.
And then we actually decided, dinner wise for us, there's not lots of sort of main meals that we like at Magic Kingdom. I think it's good for sort of snacks, but not necessarily main meals.
Mhm.
So we actually
That's
went to
true.
Polly for dinner, and we've never been into their quick service, but the quality of the food there, I would 100% recommend their
Oh,
quick service.
Captain Cook's is one of my favorite quick services on property. So, do you remember what you got?
Yes, I had the pork coconut meatballs.
Oh, those are so good.
Yes,
Yes.
very,
So
very
good.
good. And James had pulled pork nachos, I want to
Oh,
say.
yes. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
I dream about those nachos.
Do you?
They
Oh,
are, you know how when you have something and you just really love it to the point where later when you think about it, you can actually sort of taste it.
yes.
That's how I feel about those nachos.
That's how I now feel about beignets. So I definitely know the feeling. Definitely know the feeling. Yeah, so after that, we went back into the park. We did the People Mover, I'm sure on night one. We had planned to look at Tron, but we got up there and the queue was enormous
Mhm.
at this point, and we thought, no, we're not going to do that. Um, Now, I'd had wanted to stay for the fireworks on night one, but there was a thunderstorm rolling in at the time they were
Mm.
due. So we always leave it to the last minute. We're not one of these people that sit on the side and, for
Right.
hours to get a spot because quite often you can just nip into a little spot down Main
Sure.
Street and you can get a really nice view. So we waited until they were due and then they started to announce that they were delaying them. Now, obviously,
Mhm.
for us at this point, it's been quite a long day. We've been up since like 5 a.m. Fireworks, obviously, in the summer, and which I hadn't realized are not on until later because it
Mhm.
doesn't get darker until later. So in our minds, we were like, oh, fireworks are at 8 p.m. because that's when they were in December. Not the case. So yeah, we waited around for a bit. I think they got delayed to about 20 past, 9:30. And at that point, again, we just looked at each other and we were like, look, we've got time to see the fireworks. I can see we're both exhausted. Let's just go. So we
Mhm.
left, and I said, this is the point, that we have a plan, but at the same time, if we're not feeling it, it's our
Right.
holiday. Like, we need to enjoy it. So we'll go back and we'll do it another time. So yeah, we
Mhm.
got on the bus, we got back to Pop, and I think we were both happy to do so because we'd done about 28,000 steps, I think, on the first day.
Mm. Yes, that's a lot.
Yeah.
And the next morning, you were heading over to Animal Kingdom,
Yes.
and your rope droppers and Animal Kingdom opens up the earliest. Now, hopefully that wasn't a problem based on your still getting used to the time difference, but you
Yeah,
also had a jam-packed day before. So, how
we
was
did.
that?
So we were still up relatively early, but we had sort of slept in. So I think off the top of my head, we got on the bus at about, I think early entry was at 6:30. I think we were on the bus at about 6:15. So we were sort of
Mhm.
slightly behind, but in my mind, I was like, that's fine because we should still be able to get into the park slightly ahead or during that early entry slot when other people can't go and queue for things.
Mhm.
So we got into the park, and because we'd woken up slightly later, James didn't have time to get a coffee. So we were like, we'll find a coffee when we get there. We'll go and queue for Flight of Passage because we know that's going to be the longest line at this point.
Mhm.
Um, However, the events of the second day were completely off itinerary.
Mm.
Completely off itinerary. So we were wandering around. We went to queue for Flight of Passage, and James was just like not himself, and I could tell something was wrong. And he was like, we got in the queue, and then he changed his mind sort of 5 minutes later. He was like, no, 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 I think I want to go and get a coffee. I think I need breakfast. I was like, cool, let's go and do that. We went to try and find coffee, went to try and find breakfast, and it literally looked like the energy and life had been pulled out of him.
Oh my goodness.
um, so yeah, he wasn't feeling good at all. So, and he looked at me sort of after sitting down for about 5-10 minutes, and he said, "I need to go. I need to go back to the hotel. Like, something's wrong." So we
Mhm.
we got back on the bus at this point.
Mm.
I said to him, I don't want you to be unwell. Let's go. And we got back. He literally got into bed and slept all day. So at this point, I was having a
Oh,
solo
poor
day.
thing. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
I was feeling very guilty and very sad because I was questioning, did we push it too much on the first day? Is
Uh-huh.
it the heat? Is it exhaustion? Um,
Was he
so
drinking enough water the day before?
so much water. We literally
Mm.
drink continuously. So
Mhm.
I don't know. This did happen on our honeymoon. I think I've just decided we need to build in a sick day for James into our Disney trip.
Oh.
I don't know if it's like his body adjusting, if it's the travel, if it's the flight, but at some
Mhm.
point it catches up to him. So yeah, we
Mhm.
got back to the hotel. He wasn't great. I won't give details, but he just slept all day.
Mhm.
I obviously checked in on him, sort of settled him, and I spent a little bit of time in the room when we first got back, probably about an hour just to make sure he was okay. I went and refilled his resort cup for him. I refilled mine just so he had plenty of water.
Mhm.
And I did some editing of the vlog. And then I was like, do you know what? We're in Disney. He's ill, and all I'm going to do is sit here and watch him sleep, and that's slightly pointless.
Mhm.
So I
Right.
put on my big girl pants, and I was like, I can still go and have a solo day and have fun.
Mhm.
And that's what I did. It meant the plan slightly changed, but that's fine. So I went and sort of just wandered around the hotel a little bit on my own because I just wanted to get my bearings and also, which sounds ridiculous, just build up my confidence a bit. I think like being
Okay.
out on my own at Disney.
Mhm.
And I was wandering around the shops, and I had seen, and as everybody probably knows and sees, so many people pin trading. And I was like,
Mhm.
oh, I've never like collected pins. I've never bought a pin, but that looks quite fun. It might give me something to do while James is unwell. So I was wandering around the Pop Century shop, and one of the lovely cast members, Evelyn, her name was, she came and spoke to me, and I sort of was telling her that my husband was ill. And 5 minutes later, she came back and she gave me 3 pins, and she said, you
Oh.
can have these and you can go and start pin trading. So that was really, really lovely. She was
Oh.
just the nicest cast member I've ever met. And she said, now you can, entertain yourself, work out what pins you like, and you can just go and start. So that was really, really nice, really
That's
sweet.
really nice. Shout out
Yeah,
to
and I
Evelyn.
guess that's the magic of Disney, isn't it? That there is people talk about being pixie dusted sometimes in this grand way of not getting hotel upgrades and things like that. But actually, sometimes it's just about the small things that they do to
Right.
try and make your day really magical.
Mhm.
So yeah, I started pin trading, and then the characters, if you've ever stayed at a Disney resort or visited, you know that characters sometimes visit, which is amazing. So we had Chip and Dale in the hotel lobby again. So just like a little bit of magic brought to my day without necessarily being like right in it.
Mhm.
And after checking on James at about lunchtime, I decided, no, do you know what? I'm going to go back into Animal Kingdom on my own for a few hours and just see what I can get done.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
yeah, headed off into the Disney magic on my own. It felt very weird being out and about without my husband, who was led
Mhm.
in bed. Um, but it was really nice. I didn't do a ton, but I said to myself, if I just get a couple of things done, then that's, a really nice way to spend the afternoon. So I did safari. I rode Everest on single rider, which absolutely incredible. I think it said it was about a half an hour wait, and I waited approximately 4 minutes.
Yeah.
So that
Single
was,
rider is such a good I wanna call it a hack, but it's not a hack,
yes,
and people know about it, but it just makes it so easy if you are by yourself or even if you're with somebody and you're like, "We don't necessarily have to ride this together. Let's just
yeah.
go knock it out."
Yeah, no, absolutely incredible. So I did that, had a snack, wandered around a bit, just took in the Animal Kingdom magic because I feel like it's such like a chill park to me
Mhm.
versus some of the others. It's a park that you can relax in a bit more. And then I headed back to the hotel for the evening. I did manage to get James up for some food, but he wasn't really feeling it, so we just shared like a sandwich. And then I just did some of the evening activities. So I roasted marshmallows, I went for a swim, I watched some of the movie Under the Stars. And
Mhm.
maybe that was for the best anyway, given our first day was quite full on. I just had a
Mhm.
bit more of a relaxing second day.
Okay. Well, it sounds like you made the most of the time even while he was getting his rest and took
Yes.
advantage of the things that the resort had to offer and everything. This does mean that your summer house on the lake
Got
reservation didn't
cancelled.
happen. Okay.
Yes.
Did you reschedule it or you didn't have the
We
opportunity to?
didn't because of timings and other
Okay.
reservations that we wanted to do. So yeah, it was a
Next
bit of
time.
a shame.
Next time.
Yes, absolutely. And then what you may or may not remember is the following day we were meant to be doing Topolino's. Now that one is
Yes.
very, very important to us. However, I knew, especially with how James would feel the day after sort of sleeping all day, he hadn't eaten much. I thought he's not going to enjoy that breakfast the way he wants to enjoy it. So
Mhm.
again, I went and spoke to the cast members in the lobby, and I said to them, "Look, this is what I've got booked." They've said to me on live chat to come and speak to you guys because you might be able to help me to reorganize it. And
Mhm.
there were basically like no time sort of showing as available for like any future days. I spent about 10 minutes probably with the cast members in the lobby, and they, after searching for a little while, managed to find one for the following day. So not the third day, but the fourth day. So we
Okay.
moved Topolino's because I thought that gives James another full day, even if he's out and about, to
Mhm.
recover and to really enjoy that reservation when we go.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, important because it's not a cheap dinner
No,
or
no, it's
breakfast or
not.
anything really.
Yes,
Yeah, so yeah, that was probably for the best.
I
So
think so.
Sunday the 15th, that was a Hollywood Studios day. Did you stick to the
Yes.
Hollywood Studios plan?
We did, yes. So we still went to Hollywood Studios. He was up, ready to rope drop, so he was feeling much better, but still running slow, I'd say, in terms of energy
Mhm.
levels. But that was predominantly because he hadn't eaten anything the day before. So
Mhm.
yeah, we got into the park. We rope dropped Slinky Dog actually, which was amazing. We loved that one. And then we
Mhm.
also went and did Rise of the Resistance
Mhm. Did you end up
again.
doing a lightning lane for that?
No, so the whole trip actually, we didn't do any lightning lanes.
Oh, wow. Okay, so how
Yeah.
long of a wait was Rise of the Resistance?
So I think Rise in the morning when we waited for it was about 20 minutes, 25 minutes, but I think
Oh,
we just
gosh,
caught
not
it
bad.
still during early entry. So
Oh,
we
okay.
did Slinky Dog and then went straight to Rise.
Oh, good plan. Okay.
Yeah. So
All
we
right.
managed to catch it while it was still quite low. And then that morning we had Woody's Lunchbox for breakfast. It's one of my favorite spots. If you
Mhm.
haven't been, I would definitely recommend going to anybody listening because we love the food there for breakfast, lunch, you name it, we love
Mhm.
it.
What did you end up getting?
We had is it called Tocho's bowl? It's like
It's the
potato
Woody's Breakfast
barrels.
Bowl.
That's the
Yeah.
one.
It's
Yeah.
Alex's favorite. You're experiencing all of Alex's food
I'm
favorites.
experiencing Disney as Alex then.
Yes.
No, I love that. Well, clearly he has good taste.
He does. Literally.
Yes, yeah. No, so we love that one. So yeah, we sat there, and what's really nice since we last went, they've added like some new canopies and shade because
It
that is a
needed
particularly
it.
hot quick service to sit in otherwise.
Yeah, it really needed it. So,
Yeah, it did. So that was really nice. And then I'm trying to refresh myself on what we did. Then we mooched over to Riviera actually. So we
okay.
always try, even though our days are really busy, to have like a midday break somewhere, whether
Hmm.
that's at a resort, going swimming, going to a water park, just because we get up so early, we do a few
Hmm.
rides, and then we like to get out of the park when it gets a bit mad and a bit busy.
Right.
So yeah, we headed to Riviera. We had a sweet treat from, I can't remember what the cafe's called in there. Cafe,
Oh, Le Petit Cafe.
that's the one. Yes.
Hmm. What'd you
So we
get?
had like a chocolate mousse.
Mm.
Like a dome-shaped mousse, yeah,
Okay.
absolutely gorgeous, really, really
Mm.
beautiful. Um, and then while we were there, we were trying to work out a plan because we thought, well, we've still got a few hours. There are things that we want to do later at Hollywood Studios, but again, we want to enjoy our holiday. We don't just want to be sort of rushing around. So we actually went to. Did we do Typhoon Lagoon the first water park or Blizzard Beach? I think it was Blizzard Beach. That's the wintry one, isn't it? Yes.
Yes. Hmm.
Yes.
How did
So
you
we
like
went to
it?
Blizzard Beach. Loved it. Loved both the water parks. I think our favourite was actually Typhoon Lagoon, if I'm honest. But
Hmm.
we've never done any of the Disney water parks, so these were brand new experiences for us, and we love being in the water. So I think we just felt right at home, if I'm honest, like bobbing around, relaxing.
Were the water parks particularly busy because of
I
the
didn't
heat?
think so, but I don't know
Okay.
what busy is normally like, but we didn't wait more than 10, 15 minutes for any of the slides. But we
Okay.
also
Okay.
didn't do the big plunge one.
Okay.
That one was just looking a little too scary for me.
Yes. I've done the one at Typhoon Lagoon, that's the straight down one, and
Which one's that? Is that with the three?
I think it's with the 3. Yeah.
Yes, we
Yeah.
did do that one. That was probably even once I did it, I was like, oh, that was quite steep. But I
Yeah.
probably could do that one
Yeah.
again. I wouldn't probably do anything any steeper than that.
Okay. Yeah. Alex tends to talk me into things like that, and then I'm like, "Why am I doing this again?"
And then you
He
just close your eyes and scream. That's what I found works.
Right. I'm like, "It'll be over in 5 seconds. I guess I just have to go." Okay.
Yeah. And also, I felt like when we did that, the one with the three over at the other water park, I think I got to the top and there was like a little boy behind me and I started to freak out. And James was like, you can't freak out. You're going to scare the children. Just go. I sort of thought, oh, I have to be a role model.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, no, we loved the water parks. It was really, really nice. So we did that for the afternoon and then we did go back to Hollywood Studios, enjoyed the evening. We watched some of the animation show that they do
Mhm.
up the top at Mickey and Minnie, so that was really nice. We didn't do Fantasmic, and secret tip here, we didn't do Fantasmic at all this trip.
Okay. All right.
Which
There's
I was
always
a
next
little
time.
bit, yeah, there's always next time. At first I was a bit gutted about it. I say secret tip actually, it's not really a tip for anyone because if you like Fantasmic, then you might be a bit sad. But I think the tip I would say though was that actually, if you're not too fussed about Fantasmic and you want to explore the park when it's slightly quieter or see something very different, because that animation show was really quiet. There wasn't many
Mhm.
people watching it, but I thought it was incredible. They tell like a really beautiful story. They use projections. There was still a few fireworks, so
Mhm.
that was just a nice new experience for us.
Yeah. Did
Um,
you make it over to your Beaches and Cream reservation that you had that day for lunch?
No, we decided not
Okay.
to do that one either. So again, some of these we'd sort of booked with the knowing that we might cancel them or be flexible
Right.
with them, just depending on how we felt on the day. And I think
Mhm.
because we'd been to Riviera and had that treat, and then we went to the water park, we decided we don't need another
Yeah.
ice cream as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was nice to have the option, and I think it is definitely one that we will do at some point.
Right. Okay. All right. Monday, June the 16th was an
Yep.
Epcot day. How did
Yes.
this day pan out?
So this day we had our replacement Topolino's breakfast. So
Mhm.
James was back to 100%, which was amazing. So from this point onwards, I will give you a spoiler, he was not unwell any further.
Good, 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 good.
Yes, so that was really good. So yeah, we headed over to Riviera. We actually got an Uber this day because of the timings of the breakfast that we booked, which was I think at 7:50, with the time
Mhm.
of the Skyliner opening and what we'd experienced on previous days with how
Oh,
long that
yeah.
queue can take. We thought, oh, we
Mhm.
might be late. I think an Uber between resorts is, like $5. It's not a lot of money. So
Right.
yeah, we decided to Uber just for peace of mind, make sure we were on time. And Topolino's is just, I just don't have words for Topolino's breakfast. It's honestly magical.
So good. It's
Not
so
that
good.
everything at Disney isn't magical, but I think that one
No,
for
but
me, it's just special.
it is. The food is amazing, and the characters in their little outfits are so
Yes,
cute. They have really great interactions there. And then you can also pop out onto that balcony and take
yes.
some wonderful pictures. So,
Absolutely, yeah, and I love that. I mean, I think they do it all experiences anyway, but you don't ever feel rushed in Topolino's with the whole,
mhm.
the sit down of your breakfast or your dinner. You don't feel rushed with the characters, like they're just trying to sort of move you on after photos. So we had some really, really nice experiences. I actually had my mini Mickey plushie with me, so like Mickey was very happy with that, and Minnie was like taking him and kissing him. So it was just really,
Oh,
really sweet. Yeah. And James had, I can't remember what he had for breakfast now. Did he have some sort of, do they do poached eggs there? Am I making that up?
I think they do like an avocado toast that comes with egg on
I
top.
don't think it was toast either. I had the
Did you
French
do the steak and
toast.
eggs? Is that
No,
what he
I
had?
did.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it could have been. See,
Because
I
the
clearly
steak
was
and
just
eggs there is
focused on my
amazing.
breakfast and not on his breakfast. But we absolutely loved it. They obviously bring you as soon as you sit down, like the lovely artist sort of bucket full of amazing pastries and dips
Mhm.
like jam and cream, and I think there's also like a hazelnut spread. The
Mhm.
theming obviously in Topolino's, if you have or haven't been, is incredible. It's all themed as sort of artist, Mickey and Minnie and friends. It's, yeah, just really, really
Mhm.
beautiful. And then after that we headed into Epcot. So took the
Okay.
Skyliner across. We had obviously missed early entry, which is fine, but
Mhm.
we headed straight to Remy's. And then we realized when we got in, because we'd missed early entry, the queue for Remy's was already coming out of the big sign they have, the arch that says Ratatouille,
Yes,
I
which
think
is
it says.
quite far away from the
Yes,
actual entrance to the
yes.
ride.
So
So,
it was coming
yeah.
all the way out there, and we looked at the queue and we were like, we're not doing that, because the app, I think, said 60 minutes, and we both said to each other, we've seen that queue like in the chains outside Remy's, and it said
Mhm.
60 minutes. So how can it be 60 minutes all the way back here?
Yeah.
So yeah, we
Mhm.
weren't going to do that, and that was something that we'd always said, like, we have rides on each day that we want to do, but how we do them
Mhm.
or when we do them is flexible. So we actually headed over
Sure.
to Norway and did the Frozen ride first.
Mhm.
That was a 40-minute wait, which I didn't think was too bad given that we'd missed some of early entry. Um, After that, we went and did Guardians. Again, we didn't wait very long for Guardians. So actually, we waited. I'm just having a little look. We were on the ride at 10 to 11. So I think we got in it when it was about an hour to wait.
Mhm.
So I think for Guardians, an hour wait. We've always said, obviously it's personal preference, but anything up to an hour, especially for like one of the big rides, is
Right.
is a good wait.
Mhm. What song did you end up getting?
We had, and I called it Disco Inferno on the day, or Conga, but that's not what it's called. No, it is. Is that what it's called?
Well, there's 2 songs. Disco
There's
Inferno
two.
is one of the songs, and Conga
Burn,
is one of the
baby,
songs.
burn. That one, Disco
Oh,
Inferno.
that's Disco Inferno.
Yes,
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
on the
There's
day
6
I called
songs
it Burn,
total,
Baby,
but
Burn. Yes,
yeah. Okay.
yes. So that was quite nice. It was a new experience
Mhm.
for us just with that song. I think when we did it on our honeymoon, we had September, which I know is a fan favorite for a lot of people, and it was for us. But actually, I think I listened to all the songs before we went, and there was probably only one song I would have been disappointed with.
Oh, which one was it?
I ran.
That's my least favorite song too.
Yes. I think when I listened to the soundtrack, I just thought it doesn't sound as like upbeat as the others. And actually, I was trying to picture
Mhm.
myself riding Guardians to that song, and I was like, I just can't.
Yeah, listen, I will ride Guardians no matter what song is playing. I just love the ride so much. But of the 6 songs that you can potentially get, I Ran is by far my least favorite.
Yeah,
I
I
don't know.
thought the same when I listened to it. So I was glad we didn't get that one. And then yeah, we wandered around again. It's a common theme for us. We love just taking in the Disney
Mm-hmm.
atmosphere. We went and saw the new area at Epcot 'cause that wasn't there on our honeymoon, where the Walt statue is
Yes.
sort of on the bench and all of
Mm-hmm.
that beautiful sort of landscaping that they've done now. That was amazing. We did the Moana walkthrough.
Mm-hmm.
Love the Moana walkthrough. Like it's so interactive. It's so fun.
Did you do either of those areas, the Moana or that area in the center, which I think is called World Celebration, at night?
No, so this was our
Okay.
only day at Epcot,
Okay.
and because we wanted to see the fireworks, and then I think in doing other things, we just didn't make it. But we
Yeah.
obviously, as you know, there is always next time.
There's always
So
next time, and it's
yeah,
it's such a different experience to see those 2 areas in the evening. A, it's not so hot, and
yeah,
B, the lights just look beautiful. So I would encourage you the next time you go to
yeah,
try to get that
absolutely.
alternate perspective.
And
Okay.
that's what I love. I think every time you go to Disney, you can have a completely different experience because you can do
Right.
something that you
Mhm.
haven't done before. So then we headed out of the park for a bit and we went to Disney Springs and we had Polite Pig, sort of as like an
Mm.
early dinner,
Mhm.
late lunch. It was incredible. I've never eaten
Love
there
it.
before. Yeah, absolutely incredible.
Mhm.
Um, and then we did make it back into Epcot for Luminous. So that was amazing. That I love
Mhm.
Happily Ever After at Magic Kingdom, but there is something about Luminous and the story and the music that it just again it sets me off every time.
Now, this was your planned Epcot day. I don't think based on
Hmm.
my notes that you had any other Epcot days planned,
Nope.
and you had not ridden Soarin'. Have you
Oh, we
ridden
did ride
Soarin' at
Sorry.
this point?
Yes.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
So yes. Sorry. Rewind back. We actually weren't going to ride Soaring, and I've never ridden Soaring. However, after Springs, I called Natalie actually, and
Uh-huh.
we were just having a catch up, and she said to me, "If you do not go and ride Soaring on this trip before the fireworks, we're gonna have words." Basically, she was
Thank
like,
you,
"It's such a
Nats.
good
Well
ride."
done.
Yes,
Good
and
advice for your friend.
I think Scott was in the background as well, her partner, when I was on the phone, and he said, "Well, how long was the wait when you looked?" And I think it was like earlier in the day, I think it was like 45 minutes, 50 minutes. And James and I were like, "Oh, we don't know if it's worth that wait." And he was like, "I would have waited 45 minutes." So, yes, that is the only thing we did actually before the fireworks. So, we got back into the park, did Soaring because we had time with the wait time and doing it to then do that before the fireworks.
Okay. What did you think about it?
10 out of 10.
Good.
Absolutely incredible. Not what I say, not what I expected. I had seen some like videos and people's thoughts on it, but I didn't think I'd enjoy it as much as I did. And the
Mhm.
ending, which I don't want to spoil it for people that haven't done it, but yeah, that bit I was just like, wow, I think I was tearing up at that point. It was just
Aw.
really, really special.
Yeah, there's something about it. I love it. No matter
Yeah.
how many times I've done it, it's always thrilling to me.
Yeah, no, it was incredible. And what was really sweet, I had a little girl next to me actually when we rode it with her dad. And when we sat down, she sort of looked at me and she said, "Don't worry, it's not scary. I've just done it with my mummy." And I was just, it was really sweet.
Oh, that is sweet.
Yeah, really sweet. So no, I am glad that we did that actually. It was really fun. I think it would probably definitely be on my list now for next time.
Yeah, I'm glad Nat's advised you to go ahead and do it. I hope at
Yes.
some point you ladies will take a trip together. I would absolutely love to talk to the two of you if you ever do a
It's
girls trip.
been discussed. We are hoping, well, not even
Okay.
necessarily a girls' trip. We are possibly in discussion about a couple's trip at some
Oh, a
point.
couples trip. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that would be
Yeah.
amazing. Okay.
So that would be cool.
Yeah, if you two don't call me when you're doing that and
We
let
will
me
definitely
know
call you.
so that we can have an interview because I know how much the listeners loved Nat's episode and I know that they're going to love yours too.
Oh,
So,
that's
to have you both
amazing.
back together, power duo. Okay.
That's the dream. I think they obviously do Disney very differently to us, and we've never experienced a villa. But actually, I think, especially if you're in a
Mhm.
group of people, a villa is probably a really, really nice way to come and visit Orlando and have that flexibility of
Yeah.
enjoying time on your own or being in the park. So, yeah, trust
Yeah.
me, it is on the cards. I am praying.
Okay. All right, let's get into Tuesday, June 17th, and you were supposed to go back to Animal Kingdom this day.
Yes.
Now, James didn't get to go to Animal Kingdom, so
No,
I
and Animal
assume
Kingdom
that
is his favorite park.
yes, you went back so that he could do everything he needed to do, feeling 100%. So
Yes.
walk me through this day.
So yeah, we made it back. James was super, super happy. He loves this park. We rope drop Flight of Passage. Incredible. We love that ride so, so much. It did have some delays while we were in the queue and technical difficulties. So that ended up taking way longer than expected. I think we ended up queuing about 75 minutes, which meant by the time we got out of the queue, we were actually getting closer to lunchtime than we were breakfast time. And at this point, we hadn't had breakfast and we hadn't got James a coffee, which are two very like key things to his morning. So yeah, we did that one, and then we went to, where did we go for breakfast? Oh, I don't think we went and had breakfast because of timing wise. We went to the market and had these really gorgeous like kebabs and pita breads with
Mm-hmm.
hummus, and yeah, absolutely gorgeous. And then we wandered around. We did photos by the Tree of Life. And one of James's absolute like bucket list things that he wanted to see this trip, because he never saw them on our honeymoon, was the otters, which might
Mm-hmm.
sound so random for some people, but he just loves them. He loves otters. He loves all animals,
Uh-huh.
to be honest. But when we went on honeymoon, I don't know if it's because of the time of year, the weather, where it's colder, they weren't really very active. When we
Uh-huh.
went this time, they were swimming around, they were
Oh,
chirping. It was, yeah, amazing.
so cute.
Amazing. And we managed to do safari. We
Mm-hmm.
did the rapids. That was new for us, so that was really fun.
Were you sitting in a seat where you happened to get soaked?
We didn't get too wet. I would say we got wet, but I wouldn't say
Uh-huh.
soaked, which was
Okay.
quite nice. It was sort of like a little refresher before we left
Yes,
the
but
park.
if listeners, if you have not done Cali River Rapids, it is like a game of roulette, though. You can go on it and be totally soaked from
Yes.
head to toe, or come off just having a little spritz. So,
Yes, I did see a real
you're
mix
taking
of
your
people
chances.
leaving the queue. Yeah. And I didn't realize that there's a bridge where people can actually stand and like spray you.
Yes, yes, there is. Did
So yeah,
you
luckily
did
I
you
was
go
like
stand on that bridge
ducking.
and spray anyone?
Did we do the bridge? No, we didn't. I think when we left the queue, I wanted to, but there was quite a few people like already waiting and children, and I thought I can't be that
Mhm.
person that pushes the children out the way. So
Oh
yeah,
my
we
goodness.
didn't do that. And then that evening we had a reservation at Steakhouse 71, I
Mhm.
believe. Yeah, we did.
Yes.
So we headed back after we'd done everything that James wanted to do. He was really happy. Yeah, we did safari, we did Flight of Passage. That was a key ride for him. We did the rapids. We did Everest as well. So we ticked off a lot of the main rides that he wanted to do.
Good.
Went back to the hotel, got ready for dinner, went to Steakhouse 71. Again, 10 out of 10. I would recommend it if you haven't done it. It was
Mhm.
beautiful food, amazing service, but I would actually say for value for money, really, really reasonable.
Mhm.
I don't
Yeah.
know what your thoughts are. I don't know if you've ever been, but I would say for
I have.
a sit
It
down.
I would say for a sit down table service restaurant, you're right. It is a decent value, get a good amount of food.
Yeah,
It's not nearly as expensive as a place like California Grill,
yeah,
Topolino's, those sorts of places. And it's kind of got like a little bit more casual vibe, but still very
yeah,
nice.
yeah. I felt that. Obviously,
And I
there were
love the
still people.
photography when you walk in
Yes,
too.
that's
It's
it
so
for
much fun
me.
to
Was
look at
like
that. Yeah.
sort of retro but modern, and it made you
Yeah.
just feel like you were really walking into like an experience and almost part
Mhm.
of the whole like storytelling. So yeah, we really really loved the food there. And then we decided, because we were so close to Magic Kingdom, to head back into Magic Kingdom and
Mhm.
either do the fireworks or Tron. We hadn't really decided, but we thought when we head in we'll see what the queues are doing and make a decision. And actually, as we wandered into the park, which, I mean, every single thing I think I say at Disney is magical, but we walked in as Happily Ever After was starting. So
Uh-huh.
the music was playing in the background, fireworks were starting to go off, and we said, right, let's go and do Tron, because we're going to do Happily Ever After anyway on another night. And
Mhm.
we could see the fireworks area was already very busy. So they open up when the fireworks are on, if you don't know, like the back, there's like a gate towards
There's
the
like a
right past the
walkway.
theater.
Yeah.
Yes, so they open that out so you can cut through. So we went to Tron. It said a 75-minute wait, which I was like, that's
Mm.
quite a lot considering the fireworks are on. I thought I sort of expected it to come down a little bit, but
Mhm.
I guess Disney is obviously always busy, right? There's always going to be people at Disney, so there's going
Hmm.
to be a split of where they are. We got in the queue. We actually only waited an hour, so it was slightly
Okay.
under the wait time, which was fine. And riding Tron at night was amazing,
Yeah. Yeah.
absolutely
That's my
amazing.
preferred way to write it. So,
Yeah, yeah, very, very
particularly
different,
because
I
the
think.
line goes out into an area that is not shaded. So, if you're
Yes,
waiting outside during the day, that is not any fun, particularly
yeah,
during an Orlando summer.
yes, and actually, even at night during the time we were there, I hadn't quite comprehended how
It's
sort of
still hot.
sticky it would still be. Yeah,
Yeah.
I just expected it would be the sun goes away and it's much cooler. That is not the case.
Yeah, it's still hot, but
Yes.
better than the high heat of the day for
Yeah,
sure.
absolutely. And then after we'd done Tron, I'd convinced James, and I read this on the internet somewhere, and somewhere out listening to this might tell me they do it on a certain day or certain times of the year. I don't know. But I'd read that they do a kiss goodnight on the castle when the
Uh-huh.
park closes, and that they do like lights and
It
a little thing.
I don't think I'm trying to remember, but it's been a while since I've stuck around for that, but I don't recall there being anything on the castle as it's happening, as much as like twinkly lights in the hub area and a voiceover.
Yes, that sort of thing. That's
Yeah.
what I was expecting. So I'd
Mhm.
convinced James after Tron. I was like, "Oh, they do this, and we're near to park close. Like, shall we wait for it? Because we've
Mhm.
never seen it. Like, it might be quite sweet to see." I think we were still there at about 11:30, and they still hadn't done this thing.
Mm.
So James was like, "I'm ready to go now." So we left, and we headed back. Yeah, it was definitely about 11:30, and I think I'd even asked a few cast members, and they were like, "We're not sure."
Hmm. Yeah, I do, they definitely do it. And they've done it post pandemic. I feel like I've
Okay.
seen it since then. So it's I don't know when it's scheduled for. It's just kind of one of those things that when I am there for it, I haven't planned for it. It just happens. And for listeners who don't know what we're talking about, it's called the Kiss Goodnight, and it's just basically a way to wrap up the park day. And they have some sort of um voiceover. I can't even remember what it says, but it's just like a little bit of music playing, maybe When You Wish Upon a Star or something,
Yes.
and it just some inspirational words to send everyone off and kind of subtly in a sweet way remind them like, hey, the park is closing. You should
Yes.
probably start heading to the front now.
Yeah. So yeah, it would have been nice to see, and I had read about it, but it didn't happen. That was fine. So yeah, we headed back. So that meant that was quite a long day again.
Yeah. Well, that's who you are. You're a
That
rope
is who we
dropper.
are. Absolutely.
Pack as much as you can in person.
Yes.
All right. So the next day, Wednesday, June 18th, was a Magic Kingdom day again.
Yes.
And I specifically wrote in my notes that you wanted planned spontaneity this day. So you didn't have
Yes.
anything on your agenda. You just wanted to do what you felt like doing when you felt like doing it. So what did
Yes.
you end up doing?
Yes. So we did go into the park. I actually can't remember what we did first thing now. We had breakfast at the hotel this day. And in fact, did we go straight to Magic Kingdom? I think, and I'm just looking at my photos, which makes me think that we didn't, because I'm currently wearing a swimming costume at 9:20 in the morning. So I'm now refreshing my brain. We actually did another water park this day.
Oh,
So
okay.
we went to Typhoon Lagoon first after breakfast, and I think this is because I'm trying to refresh myself. So Thursday's our last full day because we leave on the Friday. So
Hmm.
this Magic Kingdom day is our only day to watch Happily Ever After. So I knew we were going to be in the park late.
Later.
So
Okay.
we
Yeah.
went to the water park in the morning to just start a bit more relaxed. We did Typhoon Lagoon. Let me tell you, when I could not get my husband out of that wave pool. He
That
was
wave pool
obsessed.
is pretty rough.
Yes,
I have been knocked over multiple times just standing in the shallow section.
yes. So I was keeping myself a bit more reserved because as much as I can swim and I really enjoy it, that's very different. Like you are
Mhm.
literally being forced to be knocked over essentially.
Yeah.
So I loved it. I loved being in there, but I hadn't quite realized how intense it was going to be. So I did keep a bit of distance, whereas James was like getting right to the front, like, come on,
Uh-huh.
let's do this. And I think at one point I knocked out a small child with my foot.
Oh,
So
no.
yeah, wasn't fun. I think there were tears. So there were many apologies, but there were also many people knocking each other over. I
Mhm.
think some of that is just part and parcel of the tumbling of being in the wave pool. I think there's also some vlog footage of me almost choking. So yeah, if you want to see
Oh,
that,
God.
then that's coming soon. um, but yeah, we loved Typhoon Lagoon. So we did the wave pool. We also did one of the big raft rides there. The
Mhm.
It's kind of up the top of the hill. I can't remember what it's called, but we did that one.
Yeah, I don't remember what all of them are called, but
No,
there's, like, a family raft ride
yes.
that's
So
like
it
a
was that
big.
one.
Yeah.
It was kind of like a big. I'm sure it was yellow or blue, like a giant ring. So that was quite
Mhm.
cool.
Yeah.
We also did the rapids there. I'm sure there's rapids. I'm sure one of them was called something rapids.
I think you're right. I'm totally blanking on what anything
It's
is
fine.
called
I didn't
in
really pay
in
attention
this
to the
park.
names as such, and obviously this was
Yeah.
now sort of 3 weeks ago. But the one that we did last, which we both loved, was Crush and Gusher.
Crush a Gut, that is the one that I
Yes,
do remember because that is my favorite too. Because it's like a
yes,
little roller coaster, but a water slide.
yeah. And I did
Yeah.
not expect until we obviously got near the top, and then you could see what was going on. That initial kind of like a drop, and then I think the water like pushes
Mhm.
you
Yeah.
onwards. So yeah, there was a lot of screaming on that one, but I did really enjoy it. I really enjoyed it. So yeah, water park in the morning, headed back to the hotel, got ready, and then headed into Magic Kingdom. So we did Magic Kingdom in the afternoon. So we did, what did we do? We did Jungle Cruise for definite. We also had lunch at Harbour House.
Mhm. Yeah, love
Yes,
Harbor House.
that's the one. So James had like a crab roll.
Oh,
That's
like
what
a
they did
lobster
at
roll.
Lobster Roll. That's
Yeah.
the one.
Mhm.
And I had like a shrimp rice bowl at this point. Obviously, in the holiday, I was trying to have something that resembled healthy-ish food. So I thought prawns and rice sounds kind of
Mhm.
healthy. um, and then we wandered around. I went to see the Tangled toilets because they're just my favorite toilets. I love the theming of those
Everyone has their
toilets.
favorite toilets at Disney.
Yes,
It's so funny.
for me, it's Tangled. So we did that. We also went into the shops and we did quite a lot of shop searching. And I think this was the shop we ended up getting the ears at because over on my Instagram I was running like a Disney giveaway. So
Mhm.
I really wanted to buy something while I was in Disney that was just sort of to say thank you to my followers and people that have been supporting me already. And I put James in charge of choosing the giveaway item just
Mhm.
to help him feel involved, but also so that he was sort of impartial to what was being chosen. And he
Mhm.
chose some beautiful, I think they were fairly new when we got them, Cruella de Villiers. They're like
Mhm.
fluffy on the ears, they're black and
Yes.
white, they're absolutely gorgeous. I don't know
You
if
know
you've seen
what?
them, but I love them.
Not only have I seen them, I have helped someone purchase them because I
I
was
love
just in
that.
Disneyland for a work trip,
Yes,
and my colleague, Danielle, shout out to Danielle, was determined to get ears the minute we walked into the park. And so we
nice,
walked over into the little hat shop they have there in Disneyland, and those were the ones she was drawn to. And because I am DVC, I was able to get a discount. So I walked up
nice.
with her to make the purchase, and so she could get the 20% off.
That's really
They're
good.
really, really cute.
Yeah, I
They're
love
so
them.
cute.
I When I actually brought them home, I was like, oh, I really want to keep them. I should have got two pairs. But hey ho, I didn't do that. Did you also love Disneyland?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's I've been there. This was my 3rd time to Disneyland, and I really love it, but it cannot hold a candle to Disney World for me. So,
That's good to know. That is good to know. I
yeah.
think it's one for us that's on the list at some point. But
Mhm.
like you say, I just have this tie now that I've been to Orlando, and I'm like, I don't know if anything will ever beat it.
Yeah. It's so much smaller because it's only got the 2 parks. They're right across from each other, so it does make park hopping very easy. But when you've been to Orlando and experienced the breadth of those parks, like Magic Kingdom is huge, and the Disneyland proper park is such a small footprint. It has a
Yeah.
lot of rides. It has a lot more rides than Magic Kingdom does.
Okay.
But like for example, we were all the way in the back and we were like we want to get in line for Space Mountain before the park closes and we you have to be in line before the park close
Yeah.
time to count. And people were like, "Are we gonna make it?" And I was like, "Yeah, this is such a tiny park. We will make it. We'll walk fast." But
Yeah.
in no time at all, we were in Tomorrowland, and there we were, and we hopped into line. So I definitely recommend that any Disney fan go to Disneyland at least once in their life because it's the original. you get to be there in a space where Walt was. And so there's
Yeah.
something magical about it. But, I think that for me, Orlando feels much more like a vacation destination, and Disneyland and California Adventure seem much more geared to locals. And partly I think
Okay.
that feels that way because they're smaller and because it's right in the middle of Anaheim. And so it feels it just feels different. Like in
Mm.
Orlando, that Disney bubble doesn't just start at the park or at your resort. The Disney bubble starts, outside of that because Disneyland has so much, or excuse me, Disney
Yeah.
World has so much property. And with Disneyland, it's just like you're out on the street of Anaheim and then suddenly you're in the park. And so it
So
has
they
a
don't have
very
Disney
different feel.
hotels then in California, sort of
They
like
have
resort hotels,
3.
or
They
okay.
have 3, only 3, and because there are only 3, they are more expensive than the
Okay.
hotels in Disney World because even their lowest price hotel, which is the Pixar Pier Hotel, I would say is more along the lines of a moderate price or maybe even like a lower end deluxe price, and then from there it only goes up. So
Okay.
one of the good things about it, if you do go to Disneyland, is that staying on property is not nearly as important to me because there are so many off property good neighbor hotels that are within walking distance
Okay. That's good
because
to
it's
know.
right there in the middle of the city. So you just pick whatever hotel has a good price that you like and is a distance away from it that you feel okay with. Like, so for
Yeah.
example, I was at the convention center. If I walked from my hotel over to the park, it took about 20 minutes or
Oh,
so to
that's
walk.
really good. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really good. And I
Yeah.
will ask you before the end of this podcast, because you just mentioned DVC, about your DVC and your home resort, because I'm dying to know.
Oh, well, I'll tell you right now, it's Wilderness
Yes, please
Lodge,
do.
the
Oh,
Copper
is
Creek
it?
section. So Wilderness Lodge has Copper Creek and Boulder Ridge, so we're in Copper Creek,
Okay.
which is in the main building. So it's my
Okay,
favorite.
fine. Which I've done to, I've been in the main building, 'cause that's where the Artist Point dinner
Yes.
is. And we
Mhm.
did that on our honeymoon. Okay. So yeah, that's a very, very cool resort to have as your home resort.
Yeah, yeah,
Is
I
that
love
the
it.
one you would choose to like stay at and use your points, or do you ever venture out to other
Well,
resorts?
we're on a quest to try every single resort, so I try to
Nice.
mix it up. One thing that I love, though, is because it's my home resort and because I love it so much, if I can't get another resort that I am looking to stay at, then I'm always happy to be in my
Yeah.
home resort. I'm never disappointed with that. So, we've got a couple other resorts to tick off, some of which none of us have stayed at. So, we haven't done
Nice.
Animal Kingdom Lodge, and we haven't done Yacht Club, which is not DVC, but it's
Okay.
one of the other deluxe we haven't stayed at. And then Charles and Alex have not stayed at Boardwalk yet.
Oh,
Or
amazing.
and they also haven't stayed at Riviera. And I've stayed at both of those just on other trips where they weren't with me. So yeah, I love Wilderness Lodge, but I wanna stay everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah. All right, let's finish
Oh, I
out
love
this
that.
this
Yeah,
trip
sorry.
reporting.
So finished day, what, I don't know what day we're on now, but Wednesday. So we watched Happily Ever After, which again for me, I
Mhm.
love Luminous, like I said earlier, but Happily Ever After is my like go-to evening show at Disney.
It's the most emotional for me.
Yes, it is. It sets me off every time. And what's so weird for me with Happily Ever After is I'm kind of connected to it before I'd even seen it, because I was
Mhm.
starting to listen to the soundtrack before our honeymoon for like the whole Disney World resort,
Yeah.
ride music, firework music. So I'd actually listened to Happily Ever After. I knew all the words to the song
Oh.
before we even went on our honeymoon. And we then had that song play at our wedding. So I just had this like
Aw.
emotional connection to it already before I'd even been. So I think
Uh-huh.
now when I watch it, there's almost like this reminder of my wedding day as well, which is really, really
Yeah.
nice for me.
Oh, that's so
So
sweet.
yeah, we also watched it from slightly further back this trip. So the first time we were like, we need a good castle view, we want to be really close, and we were in that sort of central circle
The
near
hub.
the hub by the Walt and Mickey statue.
Mhm.
And we ended up being part of the people that sit for like an hour and sat on the floor and went and got food and did all that jazz. And this time James was like, I don't think we need to do that. And also, he'd done a little bit of his own research. He said, I want to be further back because then you get to experience all of the projections on Main Street as well as the full view of the castle and sort of seeing the fireworks in full as opposed to seeing them super close.
Right. Yeah. How was that?
And I would 100% recommend. watching it from further back. We also didn't have to wait hours, so we were, mooching around the shops, still doing rides. I think we snuck in at about 8:45,
Mhm.
and we had a
Okay.
really, really good spot. Loved it.
Perfect.
I loved
Okay.
like absorbing all of that, the show and everything
Mhm.
on Main Street, as well as the music, as well as the fireworks. It felt
Mhm.
more like I was encompassed in the show as opposed to being right in front of the castle and just seeing the fireworks and the projections on the castle.
Right. Oh, that's a good way to describe it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You became part of the show. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm. All right, that brings us to your last full day, Thursday,
This is
June
sad.
19th. This was a Hollywood Studios day.
Yes, and again,
So,
I don't think we had loads of plans on this day.
mhm.
Possibly not from the itinerary, but we wanted to start the day in Hollywood Studios for sure. So we did that. We actually decided to rope drop Rise again because it is a favorite ride of ours, and we James loves it, I love it. So we did that. We then we then sat down actually, and this day it's a Thursday, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. I don't know why. Every other day that we'd been in the parks, it felt busy, but none of the wait times felt unbearable or unmanageable.
Mhm.
Whereas when we were at Hollywood Studios this day, we'd only rope drop Rise of Resistance, and then we were working out like what to do for breakfast. And I think we went and had Ronto wraps, and James had the what's the fancy coffee in Star Wars?
Oh, the black calf cold
That's
brew.
the one. Yes, he loves that. So we had the coffee, and then we started looking at wait times, and everything was like skyrocketing to like almost an hour plus. And we were like, whoa, it's still
What is
quite early in
happening?
the day. Why is everything so busy? And the actual park, I remember we just sat down at one point near the Little Mermaid, and we were looking at the phone and we were like, why is everything so busy? And even the amount of people, and it
Mhm.
just felt quite overwhelming. And I think because it was our last full day, we didn't want that to be ruined by feeling stressed and
Mhm.
rushed and like we were trying to cram everything in. So we went and did the Little Mermaid show because it was obviously a new show that's not long come out.
Mhm.
We were right by it, so we decided to get in the queue for that. Again, I definitely would recommend it. I thought that the cast in it were great. The way that they've done it is really amazing, and it's a nice little break from the heat if you need it.
Mhm.
And we actually then decided, let's leave the park and let's spend the day resort hopping. So we had
Okay.
our last full day resort hopping, which was unplanned, but we love visiting the resorts, and we almost did like a resort hop where we tried to have like a drink and some sort of food or snack at every resort that we went to. So it ended
Mhm.
up being a really, really fun day and a little bit of a sentimental day because we also went back and visited our honeymoon resort. So that was really, really nice. But we started off the resort hop at Animal Kingdom Lodge.
Okay.
So we went there. Plan was to try and see some animals. However, we'd typically timed it awfully with the apparently at some point in the day they go back into like the barn for 2 hours for like a health check.
Oh, every
Yes, there
single
was
animal all at one time?
every single animal all at one time. So there was a cast member. We were
Wow.
wandering down and we were sort of looking around. I obviously had the vlog camera out and I was expecting this grand view of animals at Animal Kingdom Lodge. And then she looked at us and she said, I'm really sorry, the animals have all gone in for their health check and break.
They've all clocked out momentarily.
Yes. So, little tip for you all: if you are heading to Animal Kingdom, it is quite possible that you will not see any animals. So, James said something like, well, at this point, it's not Animal Kingdom Lodge, it's just Kingdom Lodge.
Kingdom Lodge.
Yeah. He thinks he's very funny. So we did head down to their quick service. I can't remember what it was called, but we had a really, really nice cheeseburger and chips and like a cookie brownie thing. It was delightful. So after Animal Kingdom Lodge, we headed over to our honeymoon resort, Coronado Springs. That was next on the list. Now, obviously, you can't go from resort to resort
Right?
with Disney Transportation Service. You have to go back to, I think, a park and then to a
Mhm.
hotel. So I can't
Yes.
remember which park we went to. I think from Animal Kingdom Lodge, which would make common sense, we went to Animal Kingdom because that was the
Mhm.
closest. Then we got the
Yes.
bus to Coronado Springs. Um, so then while we were there, we went down, and I have been dreaming about these since our honeymoon, the margaritas at Coronado Springs. So we
Ooh,
went
okay.
down to Rick's Sports Bar because that was the only place that was open at the time that we went. We had a margarita. We sat outside by the lake. It was just really, really lovely.
Mm,
Had drinks, and we kind of just like reminisced about our honeymoon for a little while. So that was really
yeah.
nice.
Oh.
Yeah, and it made us realize sitting in the lobby how much we love that hotel. And as much as I want to try other resorts, I would also go back there like every time,
Mhm. Yeah.
every single time.
Yeah. I love that hotel too. It's so nice in the tower, especially because the tower to me feels like a deluxe experience.
Yes, 100%. I would agree. And that's when we stayed on honeymoon. And I think just from things I've read and YouTubes I've watched and other people sort of their reviews on Coronado Springs,
Mhm.
I probably wouldn't do it if I wasn't staying in the tower, just because I think that
Mm.
does give you that elevated experience.
Yeah, I mean, the outer buildings are still very nice, but they have more of a moderate experience, partly
Yeah.
because you are having to walk to get to the quick service,
Yes.
to go to the I mean, anybody has to walk to go to the pool, but you know what I mean? Like, you have to walk to go to get to things,
Absolutely.
whereas
Whereas in the
with the
tower,
tower, you
you're
just hop
inside,
downstairs.
everything's so close. Yeah, and I
Yeah.
think especially the tower, my understanding is with a lot of deluxe resorts, and I don't know what the official terminology is for this, but that is when the room to your resort door would be like in an internal building, whereas with a
Mhm.
moderate resort, it would be external, like in that
Yeah.
motel style. So I think
Right.
because in the tower you are in like a hotel block, again, it
Mhm.
gives you that feeling of being a bit more deluxe and a bit more special.
Right. Yeah. Yep.
So at this point in the day, we then got the bus again back to another park. I think we got to Epcot this time. We did because we rode the monorail. So we did the bus from Coronado to Epcot, rode the
Mhm.
monorail, and then we went to Grand Floridian.
Mhm.
And perfect timing, not perfect timing, I'm not entirely sure, but this was the day that I mentioned at the start where the heavens opened.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So just as we started to wander through Grand Floridian and head towards their quick service, which you have to go kind of like outside and then, well,
Yes.
this is the way we went. I don't know if there's an internal route, but you kind of go
There's not.
along. Okay, so you go along their decking, which is obviously covered
It's
across the
covered, but
top.
yeah.
And just as we walked out onto the decking, it was kind of grey and it was starting to trickle. We got into the quick service, ordered, sat down, and I kid you not, we looked out the window, heavens had opened. Like, I'm talking, the water was already kind of like thick on the floor, and then the thunder started, the lightning started. I've never seen anything like it.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably very normal for Orlando, but I have just personally never seen a
I
storm
mean,
like it.
during the summer, I mean, you have more of a chance for lightning and thunder and that sort of thing. So it can open up like that. And usually, in my experience, when it does, it's not for that long.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's more rare when it goes on for a while. But what
yeah,
luck to have it happen on your resort hopping day as
I
opposed to a day
know.
when you were trying to get into the
Absolutely.
park.
And this is what I said to James. I said, we've been so lucky with the weather. Like, it's not really ruined anything for us.
Mhm.
However, we did stand in the Grand Floridian, the lobby area downstairs just before you leave for the quick service. This was once we'd finished. And
Mhm.
we just looked out of the window. And I'm not joking when I say the lightning was landing like on the grass outside of those doors. And I just said to James,
Word.
I think we should just stay here for a while because I don't really want to risk being outside or going on like any sort of
Right.
transport. And yeah, so we just enjoyed sitting and taking it all in and trying to let the rain pass for a while.
Mhm. Yeah.
And then after that, we had a very special dinner booking that evening. So we headed back to the hotel, got
Mhm.
ready once the rain had settled. So we did make it back, and we were going to Ohana for dinner, which
Mhm.
I can't remember if I said in the first episode or not, but on the last full night of our honeymoon, we did California Grill. So we had that
Yes.
beautiful experience with the fireworks and the
Mhm.
firework music playing. And when we booked Ohana, we also booked it for the firework time. So it meant that
Right.
it
Yeah.
was sort of like a similar experience to our honeymoon. So
Mhm.
again, it had that sentimental tie, but different. So that was
Yes, you
quite
said
nice.
this is your new tradition. So
Yes.
my suggestion is the next time you book something over at Grand Floridian where you also
Yeah.
have the fireworks.
Yes. Yeah. Is it not a yachtsman because that's over at yacht club, isn't it?
Narcoossee's and Citricos. So I
Perfect.
have not eaten at Citricos yet myself, but we had Narcoossee's in our February. most recent February trip, and it was delicious, and they piped in the music. So
Amazing. Oh no,
yeah.
we'll add that to the list. Well, yeah, Ohana's was incredible. Family style food, the
Hmm.
noodles, the prawns, everything about it was incredible. The steak, yeah, I just absolutely loved it. I left feeling very, very full. I probably needed rolling back out, to be honest. And it was just the perfect way to end like our last sort of real full Disney day.
Well, I love that tradition for the two of you. So
Yeah,
keep it going. All right.
absolutely.
Friday, June 20th, your departure day, but you didn't have to fly out until the early evening. And
Yeah,
so, what did you do at the beginning part of your day? Because I think this was the day that you had originally thought you would do some resort hopping, but
yeah.
now that you did it the day
Yeah,
before.
we did it the day before. So we ended up heading over to the outlets first thing in the morning.
Hmm.
So we weren't really sure what to expect, and we're not really big shoppers. There wasn't anything in particular that we wanted, but I ended up getting a few like cups for friends from the Disney store over there.
Hmm.
I again love buying like a giant Starbucks Disney cup when I go to Disney, so that's sort
Hmm.
of a tradition as well. We then also we went straight from there to Springs, and I got my very first Big Feet plush over in World of Disney.
Okay. Which one did you get?
We got Pua from Moana. So James loves
Cute.
Moana. I love Moana. So it felt like quite a nice first Bigfoot plushie to get because I think it almost felt like one that he had like approved of.
So, I haven't heard you say that you got your lounge fly yet. So, did you
Oh,
end up
how
getting
did
one?
I forget about the lounge fly? Oh my
Because
goodness,
you left
yes.
Springs early the first night.
Yes.
So, how did the lounge fly
What a
happen?
key thing to miss off. So, day one, Magic Kingdom, Loungefly shopping happened because
All
I
right.
was like, I can't go any more of the trip without the Loungefly. I can't believe I forgot actually. So, I got a very classic, like black and white Mickey. It has tiny little Mickeys all over it and black ears on the top, and
Hmm.
it is absolutely stunning.
And it will go with
Absolutely stunning.
everything.
It will go with everything, and secret, I actually have somewhere else I might be taking it this year. I can't remember if I said
Ooh.
on episode one, so I will maybe leave you with that when
Oh,
we're done.
gosh, that's
Yes,
a real cliffhanger.
it is a little cliffhanger, but we're so close, so close. So yeah, we headed to Springs, bought the plushie, and then we also did manage to have the Blaze pizza that we missed out on. So that was really nice because again,
Good.
I hadn't had it before. I'd heard very good things, and I was very impressed. Very,
Good.
very impressed. Yeah. So we did that, and then it was time to go. So we went back to Pop. Some tears were had. I also had
Hmm.
my very last cinnamon frozen iced coffee, which I still dream about to this day because it's one of my last like Disney pictures in my camera roll. So when I look at it, I'm like, oh, I'm just dreaming of that coffee.
I gotta try
But
this
we had
thing.
a Yes, please do. Next time you're there, if they're still doing it, go and have it. It's
Okay.
incredible. And then yeah, the travel home bit is probably really boring, so I won't give you the details. But we had a smooth flight. We slept for quite a lot of it, which was good. It was an overnight flight for us, but it just means traveling back to the UK. It's quite a long day because you're traveling. You've obviously been up all day in
Hmm.
America, and then when you land back here, it's the next day in the morning, and then you're trying to keep yourself up until the
Right.
evening. So it was quite a long day, but really, really good. Really,
Did
really
you
good.
have any time after you got back before you had to go back to work? Like a
So
couple
we
days
got
to
back on the
readjust?
Saturday. No, we had one day. We had the Sunday, and then we went back
Okay.
to work on the Monday.
How was that?
It was intense, but I'd planned with my work. I can kind of plan my own diary, so I'd planned sort of like an easy start. I didn't have too many meetings. I didn't have too much going on, so I
Okay.
just tried to ease myself back into it. Whereas James was very much like just back to the job.
Oh
Um,
my goodness.
However,
Okay.
I think that first week, as anybody knows listening, when you leave Disney, you almost have like Disney depression.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
we got back and we were instantly looking at the website again, seeing what deals were on, like just dreaming of being back and not really
Mhm.
wanting to do any work.
Yeah. Well, the only cure for that is to start planning your next trip. So
It
you've
is.
left of a little tease of something that might be happening, but I also want to know if that little tease is not about Disney World, when do you think the next time you might get back to Disney World?
Okay, so yes, the tease is not about Disney World, it is Disney related. I think obviously I think I mentioned it in the first episode, given now this period in our lives, we're getting ready to start IVF and think about a family, and that's obviously quite pivotal for us. So with the likelihood is potentially given timelines and how potentially if it happens, which I'm keeping all my fingers crossed, but with when we
Mm-hmm.
would then want to fly with a baby, we probably won't be able to come back until like next year, towards the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Which again, that's a new season for us. If we could come back, hopefully with starting our family in like October time, that would be incredible because it'd be Halloween season, it would be pumpkins, and
Mm-hmm.
potentially the first trip with a baby. So who knows? Obviously,
Yeah.
I'm trying to stay really positive. That's what I would love to do. I'm hopefully I would like to think and hope I'm going to be calling you up at some point saying, Virginia, I need to talk to you because we're coming back to Disney and we're doing it with a baby.
Oh my goodness. Well, I'm crossing all the fingers. I'm sending you
Thank you.
pixie
Me
dust
too.
across the ocean, and I know that listeners will be too. So,
I hope so. I hope so. But what I will leave you with is we knew, given everything that's going to be going on this summer, we needed something else to look forward to. So we had our Disney trip sort of pre the summer. And back in May, we actually booked to go on a Disney cruise in September.
ooh, okay.
Yes.
Where is this cruise going to be cruising to?
So the cruise is cruising to Norway. It's from the
Oh,
UK, so
wow.
it's really accessible for us. It's cruising from Southampton. I think this is the Fantasy's first time in the UK. I think
Mm-hmm.
it was the Dream last summer.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I'd imagine previous ships before that. But cruising to Norway, 7 nights from the UK. Disney obviously experience Disney overload. Very, very excited. I think it's going to be very different to the parks, but
Oh,
it's
yeah.
still going to be Disney, right? So there's still going
Uh,
to be magic. There's still going to be
mm-hmm.
characters. There's still going to be that Disney feel.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, stay tuned for that. I'm going to be sharing absolutely everything again over on my Instagram, my
Mm-hmm.
YouTube. So it's going to be Disney overload in a few weeks.
Oh, that's so exciting. And for listeners, you've mentioned your Instagram and your YouTube. Make sure that everyone go give Lisa a follow. And also, I know that you've started to post your videos from your
Yes.
Orlando trip. So anybody who wants to see these adventures play out on that channel, go ahead and do that. I have not watched them yet because I wanted to talk to you first, but I'm looking forward to catching
Thank
those.
you. No, that's
Yeah.
amazing. And yeah, the podcast, obviously, I hope we've given enough detail and we've talked about everything that we've done. But the vlogs, obviously, versus the podcast, they're like hour long per day. So you
Oh,
get a
yeah.
real glimpse
Yeah.
into the detail, how we do Disney, and
Yeah.
you just get to see a bit more. I always think what's really nice when you're missing Disney about watching
Mm-hmm.
vlogs or looking at someone else's Instagram kind of live when they're there. Like I remember looking at
Mm-hmm.
your pictures when you were in California, just thinking, I can't wait to be back at
Yeah.
Disney. So it just helps to, I think, keep the magic alive when you're feeling a little bit down.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. That's how I use Disney YouTubers
Yeah,
is to kind of keep myself in it while I'm not there. And I will tell
absolutely.
you that many of my favorite Disney YouTubers are from the UK. And
Really?
primarily that is because you all take longer trips. And so
Uh,
it's like a TV series. I'm like, "Oh, I got like 8 more weeks to go of
yes,
this."
yes. That's true. I remember you said when we first talked that it's obviously not necessarily harder for you guys, but you take shorter trips because of how
Yeah.
your vacation works out there. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's nice for us. We can do a bit longer, and I think this trip for us was 8 nights. If
Mhm.
and when, fingers crossed, we do come back next year, I think I'd want to do minimum 10 nights.
Mhm.
Just give
Yeah.
myself those few extra days
Yeah, and to build in a sick day for James.
and a sick day for James. Yes,
Oh my gosh. Well, Lisa, it has been so much fun talking to you. I've really enjoyed getting to know you,
me too.
and
Thank you
and
so much. It's been amazing.
I hope that you'll come back at some point.
Absolutely. I will be banging on your door, I'm sure, whenever I have a Disney experience to talk about to say, Virginia, do you want to chat to me about Disney?
I would love that. I would love that. All right. Have a magical rest of your day.
Thank you so much. I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you again to Lisa for being such a fun guest, and a huge thank you also to Nats for sending Lisa my way. I cannot wait to have both of you back on the show at some point and hopefully together. And now it's time to say goodbye. I hope everyone has a magical and productive week. And when you have a moment, don't forget to keep daydreaming about where you long to be.